Bam! Fine hooligans. It's been a day. Let's get a podcast recorded. So, we're going to do an audio podcast for today. This has been such a crazy day. I just sat down after eating dinner. I want to get a podcast out. So yeah, it was just easier to sit down and click record on me voice recorder. Either way, hope you folks are all bueno. Oh, that's not good. Just tried to open my Filmora, and it's saying that I have an unsupported graphics card or driver, which doesn't make sense because I've been using this program for years. It's really weird. All right, whatever. Focus on the podcast. Hope you folks are all bueno out there. Thank you very much for tuning in. First of all, I really, really appreciate that. We're going to talk about a couple different trailers that we saw from San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to talk about a couple other things. I don't know. Probably won't be too long today. So we'll see what happens. First, Westworld 3 trailer. Little teaser came out. Looks like we're ditching the Western vibes and everything. We're heading out into the real world, quote unquote. I don't know. I'm very excited for this. I love the Westworld show. I don't know. I want to see what happens between Dolores and Maeve, I believe her name is. It seems like they're kind of setting that up to be the hero and villainess. I don't know. But either way, I think it'll be really cool, especially with how intelligent and kind of like advanced both of them are as far as the hosts and everything go. So, I don't know. I'm very excited, folks. Very excited. The Witcher trailer. I know a lot of folks are more familiar with the games, but this is based off the Witcher books. So it's going to be a little bit different. Again, something I'm very excited for. I saw a lot of people saying that like Henry Cavill, I don't know, was too big to be Geralt, and like he didn't look right. And I don't know. We're complaining because Wonder Woman doesn't look big enough to people, and now they're saying that like actors are too big for roles. I don't know. Shut up, folks. Just wait until the stuff comes out and then enjoy it, or don't enjoy it. That's all. That is ultimately up to you. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's one of those things where it definitely has that Game of Thrones feel to kind of like draw that kind of crowd in, which I totally understand. It's a very popular show, and this kind of has the same feel. If you want to go with that, it's more what is it? More of like, the kind of medieval fantasy-esque world. So yeah, like I definitely understand the comparisons there. I think it's going to be really cool. I don't know. I'm kind of optimistic about this kind of stuff, I guess. But I guess, again, we're going to have to see. Netflix shows don't usually disappoint, though. The ones that I've checked out, at least. I think this one's going to be really dope. But, again, check out the trailer for yourself and let me know what you folks think. So, also, I probably should have said this earlier. I apologize for if the audio just isn't that great on this one, because I am just using the recorder on my phone, getting it recorded quick for you folks. And yeah, it's just been crazy. My goodness. Barely had a couple minutes to sit down and plan all of my notes out, to be honest. So, okay. Walking Dead, Season 10. 1, it's crazy that they're on the 10th season, to be honest. 2, Negan is going to have a big character arc in this one. And, the story arc, we're going to see maybe some redemption from him, become more of like a leader slash hero role. We'll see. We'll have to see. I really love that scene with him and Daryl, where Negan's in his cell and Daryl's telling him, like, you know, you and me never been toe to toe, like alone in a room. And he's like, yeah. And yet you're standing right here. So, like, I don't know. I just, this trailer looks so bueno for this season. Everything happening with the Whisperers right now, with the Whisperer War, people in the communities starting to feel some type of way about it, and they want something to be done. Oh goodness, it's gonna be good. And it's also Michonne's last season. Denai Guerrera. I don't know. I apologize. Because honestly, like, if anyone's followed the channel for a while, you know, like, Michonne is always been one of my favorite characters. As soon as I encountered her when I was watching the show, like, oh, bueno. Like, I have 2 figures of her, technically the same figure, but one's the colored version, one's the black and gray version that came with her pets. And come on, like, we didn't see anybody really like that. Like, yes, the governor had his daughter and stuff, but like, Michonne comes in, she's this mysterious cloaked figure that's has 2 walkers as pets around with her, and she uses a katana, like, even more badass. Come on, folks. Michonne is one of the most badass characters of this show, in my opinion. But we all have our preference, you know what I mean? But this is going to be her last season. It'll be interesting to see if they tie it into kind of like the whole Rick Grimes thing. Or if Michonne is going to face her death. I don't know. I doubt that, to be honest. It also makes me wonder what's going to happen with Judith. Because, I don't know, I think Judith is a really, really cool character. And even with, like, the AMC, like, president of networks or whatever it is, saying, like, he can still see Walking Dead going on for many seasons, I think Judith would be a good character to keep around. Right now, she is a little badass, and she is this almost, like, voice of innocence in a way. Almost, like, she's still a reflection of, like, Rick and everybody. So it's, I don't know. Excuse me. It makes sense to keep her around. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Ooh, the Watchmen trailer. So this trailer takes place after, like, if you've ever seen the movie, because I know some folks are more familiar with just the movie than the comics, but it takes place, like, after all of that, years after. Like, we see, like, the Rorschach cult or gang, whatever they are. I'm really interested to just kind of see what they're all about more so. Everything going on with Dr. Manhattan, it seems like that's going to be it's going to be an interesting theme to explore, especially with how Dr. Manhattan kind of, like, I guess, felt at the end of the last time we saw the Watchmen and everything, really. Unless you include the whole Doomsday Clock run, I guess, for DC Comics more recently. But this is off of Watchmen specifically, like just their standalone stuff. I don't know. Honestly, like with the Watchmen trailer and then with The Boys on Prime Video, we're going to be talking about that. Trust me. I just feel like the whole superhero genre is really changing. And it's changing for the better, in my opinion. Because before, when you think about it, we didn't really have much. It was always just Marvel. What's Marvel going to put out next? But now it's not like that. Because even with more independent and kind of things like M. Night Shyamalan, like that, the Unbreakable trilogy, like, I loved that. And I loved Glass. It felt like that whole trilogy feels like, you know, Unbreakable is its own comic issue, and then Split is its own issue, and then Glass, the third one, is when it all comes together in that third finale issue. You know what I mean? But then again, with Watchmen coming out and how that feels so much like different than other things, and with The Boys being completely different than basically any superhero thing you're gonna see out right now. I really feel like the superhero genre is getting changed up for the better, because I know a lot, like, believe it or not, I have actually like been talking to a few folks who are like were diehard Marvel fans, but they're burnt out. They're like it's too much, and it's the same stuff over and over again. Marvel's next phase, they're taking a risk. They really are leaning more so on fans being like, we trust you, go for it. You know what I mean? Because there are like the Eternals. Not a lot of people know who the Eternals are, like, or have even read the comics. I think there's only like a dozen, like, there's not a lot of comics, if I remember correctly, about the Eternals either. So that's interesting. Might be the Shang-Chi I was thinking of. Either way, the whole superhero genre is being switched up. We're getting more gritty and violent and mature kind of content, or even like comedic in a way. You know what I mean? It's different. Excuse me. Because look, even people with parents like to enjoy some, content that isn't always like family friendly. It's one of these things where it's like, no, this isn't appropriate for you. This is daddy's show, or this is mommy and daddy's show. Like, yes, it's superheroes, but it is more mature than what you can see right now. You know what I mean? And like, look, I love it. I fucking love it. We need more. Like, the thing is, when people, I don't know, competition is good. If DC needs to say fuck what Marvel's doing with their movies and just do what they want to do with their movies, like what we're seeing with Matt Reeves' Batman and Todd Phillips' Joker and stuff, like, more, do stuff like that. Just do stuff on your own, what you want to do. If the directors want to do a gritty detective noir-esque film with Batman, do it. If you want to do a Joker one and it's more, again, I'm using gritty a lot, but more street level, and just, it's not all these fucking CGI fuckfests everywhere, basically. Competition is good. For Amazon Prime, having properties like The Terror, The Boys, Lore. I know that's not, the two of those aren't really superhero-esque, but like, as far as competition goes, Amazon Prime is becoming a competitor to Netflix, in my opinion, because look, this show, The Boys, we'll jump into this. It is so different than anything else, especially if you aren't really familiar with the comics and stuff. The comics are graphic. They are mature. They are showing how superheroes, a lot of the time, like, it's not always like, they go home and have like milk and cookies and read a book. No, they're doing this for money. You know what I mean? Like, they are a merchandising brand as well. So they're worried about their public image and stuff, but behind doors, they're fucking dickheads. Like, they're doing drugs and having superhero orgies, and like, it is nuts. It is crazy. But it's like, the show does such a good job of, one, referencing a lot of things from the comics. That's actually really, really cool. But also keeping that same energy, keeping the same theme and the same, like, I guess, yeah, I said it, energy and theme about the show that there is in the comics. There's certain things they're like, all right, can't really do that in the show. We have to work it a different way. But, excuse me, the graphicness of certain things, the sexual deviance of some of these heroes, and just like the utter scumbaggery of a lot of them. They are all reflections of people in the real world and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we can all think of somebody, whether it's a Hollywood exec that got busted for shit, or, excuse me, some rock star that behind closed doors, it's like all coke and drugs or whatever. Excuse me. Burping like crazy. Apologize. Like, the heroes, they're not exempt from that fucking sex, drugs, and rock and roll-esque life. You know what I mean? And that's what The Boys is, really. It's this group of regular people that are like, fuck these assholes. You know how they are behind closed doors, and we need to do something about them. And I don't know. I love it, to be honest. I'm halfway through the show, or through the season right now. It's just so bueno. I love it. It's something completely different. It's a breath of fresh air into the superhero genre that I feel for a while now is kind of running stale. It's like, all right, cool. Here's the heroes in their suits. They're gonna go fight the CGI monster. We're gonna have a whole bunch of effects going on. Yeah, I don't. It's the same stuff over and over and over. Like with this fucking, you even watch the trailer and see what happens with Huey and Robin in this hero A train, and you're like, oh yeah, all right, I get it. I get what's happening with this show, because it does raise a question, as fans or people that have like critiqued superhero movies, whatever you want to call it, have always said, is like, what about the people these superheroes hurt or fucking kill while they're trying to rescue other people or like supposedly save the world? Like, what if the Flash, on his way to stopping a bank robbery, someone else is like crossing the street, he doesn't know, and just runs right through them? There's got to be someone who's going to be like, oh, no, you're not getting away with this, sucker. You know what I mean? I don't know. I like it. Carl Urban as Billy Butcher. I think it was a really good choice. I love his whole little Spice Girls speech. And even certain things that they did change for the show, because I'm going back and rereading the comics, they actually don't really bug me. It's not like, I don't know. I just feel like you can, there's sometimes where you change things and you go, well, that is super not the same at all. Like, not even close. Like, this is a different character. And there's certain things you can change where you're like, oh, okay, they went with this direction, or, oh, okay, I understand why that wouldn't have worked for the show or movie, whatever. And I don't know. I'm leaning on the side that I like what The Boys is doing. I'm excited to finish the season. I'm excited to see what season 2 has in store. They've already been renewed. Like, that's the thing. Prime renewed them for a second season before the premiere. Like, before season 1 even aired, they're like, hey, we want season 2. Like, and they're, again, Netflix used to have this, attitude and aura about them where it was like, Netflix original stuff, it doesn't matter, like, we're going to show like violent stuff, more mature stuff, and graphic, whatever it is. But now Prime's stepping into that game too, and it is creating competition and everything. And it's good. It's good for business and everything, and it's good for fans too. So, because I've been kind of going off, I'll name a couple, just 3 little points quick about The Boys that I really liked. One, the G-Men movie that we hear referenced or we hear talked about. G-Men is actually one of the smaller teams from the Boys comic. So I really like that we even got to hear them. So we know they do exist and everything. It'd be cool to see them at some point. Second point, Vought and the superhero branding. Like, what happens? Vought is the corporation that kind of owns them or pays them and everything. With the way they handle things and the way they go about things with the heroes, and just even Vought specifically on their own, it is a real life example of the branding and superhero branding and shit that we see in this world today. Like, you can walk down a grocery store aisle and you'll see Avengers stickers on a bunch of bananas for no reason. It doesn't need to be there, or it doesn't matter if it's Star Wars or Avengers or whatever. It's weird. You just put the tiniest sticker on a piece of fruit just so you can get branding. It's weird. It makes no sense. At least for me. So I like how they actually play on that with the show. It is rated R. It earns its R rating. There's no doubt about that. There's also, before each episode, it kind of tells you, hey, this is what's going to be involved. There's something that happens with the character Annie January. You don't see anything unfold. It is definitely implied that shit happened and she had to deal with a shitty scumbag. but you don't see anything. It's in the way of graphicness. It doesn't push for like shock factor a lot of the time. Or if it does shock you, it's probably because like what's happening is like it's going to invoke that what the fuck like reaction. You know what I mean? So there is a difference between going just trying your hardest to shock somebody with a show and then the material itself shocking you for some reason. But yeah, so go check the boys out if you haven't. A little sip of me Gatorade. What are we at? 20 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. We're going to end the podcast with one last note. It's real quick. Amber alerts. If you live in the States and you don't know what an Amber Alert is, because I think you guys call them something different. I'm not 100% sure though, so I might sound like an idiot right now. Either way, an Amber Alert in Canada is when a child goes missing, an alert goes out, so we get it like on our phones or anything. And it lets you know the description of the child, where they were last seen, who they were last seen with, all the information that you basically need to find them. Sometimes things happen in the middle of the night, and you'll get an Amber Alert about a missing child. It has been shown to work. Like finding kids because of Amber Alerts. Been finding them within a couple of hours or whatever. But yet people are mad about it. Because you're mad about your sleep getting disturbed or whatever. If Amber Alerts bug you to the point where you actually feel the need to question why they're even good, or try to just be a troll and just super negative about it to like police or whoever it is, I think you just need to think about Amber Alerts again. Think about how much you don't like them. And kind of like the same thing. If you think about a movie or something that you just really don't like, and you feel the need to jump on social media and broadcast it like all day or something, just shut up. That's it. Just think about how much it bugs you, and then just try your best to shut up. Like, that might seem harsh, but it's like, listen. I have no more patience or energy, or even like the whole, oh, let's try and be nice, look at the positive with a lot of these kinds of people. Just shut the fuck up. We don't always need to hear the negative opinions all the time, or why something bugs you so much. Because half the time people are complaining about an Amber Alert going off and bugging their sleep. But if their Instagram or something else goes off, or they see someone's commented, you're going to half awake, peeking out of one eye, stagger your way through your notifications to get to your Instagram comment to see what it is. But you're mad about an Amber Alert. Shut up. God. So, I'm out of here. I'm going to call this I think this is our 3rd or 4th annual SDCC podcast. I don't know. We only talked about it a little bit. It's more me whacking the boys off. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good at all. Either way, hope you enjoyed the podcast, folks. I appreciate you so much for tuning in and everything. It really does mean the world to me. And thank you for the folks that are honestly, they're patient and everything, because sometimes it's just, things are crazy with the kids, especially with it being summer vacation now. And I can't get content out as regular as I'd like to. But you've tuned in, and I appreciate it. So, mucho love, my hooligans. Hope everyone's mucho bueno out there. Mwah, mwah, mwah for you beautiful fat jays. My quiet kids, freaks, and weirdos, for the love of everybody, keep being weird. Thank you.
I better use my strong hand.